Within the great void of Ginnungagap, the ancient elements of fire and ice would come together to form Ymir, the first of the Jotnar. From his flesh, every god, giant, man, and beast would be born. Sometime later came Odin, grandson of the very first god created by Ymir. Odin grew to feel that his tribe of gods, the Aesir, were most fit to be the supreme rulers of all the 9 realms, and felt the need to eradicate all the giants. And so Odin, along with his brothers Vili and Ve, fought their creator Ymir. With the finishing blow from his spear Gungnir, Odin dealt the killing blow to the creator. The direct descendants of Ymir, the Jotnar, were all drowned by the immense flood caused by the creator's blood, except for Bergelmir and his wife, who would go on to settle in Jotunheim and prolong the giant race. Meanwhile, Odin used the torn flesh of Ymir to craft the realm of Midgard for himself, and eventually created the first 2 humans, Ask and Embla.
Odin is extremely clever, you see. Nearly as clever as he thinks he is. And he's a collector of prophecies. If it's about the future, he adds it to his collection. Helps him style himself as all-seeing and all-knowing. But of course, the idea is control. Control of the future, control of his fate. He'd control every realm of every land in every world if he could. Every potential pocket of resistance, he seeks to eliminate. Even if you've never posed a threat before, he may think one day you might.
A foreign visitor by the name of Mimir decided to exploit Odin's obsessions, and offered Odin a well of knowledge that would allow him to see the visions of the future that he so desired. In reality, this well was laced with a large amount of magic mushrooms that would cause Odin to have vivid hallucinations, leading to him even attempting to rip out his eyes. Having succeeded in tearing out one of his eyes, Mimir managed to stop Odin from finishing the job, and convinced Odin that he had sacrificed his eye for the sake of knowledge. Unknown to Mimir, Odin immediately saw through this lie, but still allowed Mimir to become his personal advisor due to his incredible intelligence. Around this point in time, Odin also began to have relationships with women and expanded his family, with hopes of having strong sons. Odin took 2 wives, one being the unknown mother of Tyr, and later, despite his hatred of the Jotnar, married the giantess Fjorgyn, mother of Thor. Sometime after Thor's birth, Fjorgyn passed away, and Odin was left heartbroken and depressed for many years. Despite this, Odin continued to wage his wars across the 9 realms to establish his dominance. Odin had no difficulty making the realms bend the knee, until he encountered the magical Vanir, the only other tribe of gods aside from the Aesir. The 2 tribes warred for hundreds of years, ending in a stalemate. Both sides grew tired of fighting, and Odin's advisor Mimir suggested an idea to him. In exchange for peace, Odin was to marry one of the Vanir leaders, Freya. Seeing this as an opportunity to secretly learn Vanir magic, Odin eagerly accepted this proposal. While reluctant at first, Freya also accepted the offer. And so the 2 were wed, eventually growing to genuinely care for one another, with Odin even deeming Freya queen of the female warriors, the Valkyries. Together, the 2 also had a son, Balder. Meanwhile, a gifted Jotun seeress named Groa and her husband Arvindil were approached by Odin's mightiest son, Thor. Thor asked Arvindil for his help in a quest in Vanaheim, but during the quest, Thor murdered Arvindil due to the hatred of the giants that he shared with his father. Thor returned to Groa with a story that he had made up, stating that Arvindil had suffered from frostbite during a battle, and that Thor had to carry him away, but lost him in a tundra. Knowing that this story was fabricated, Groa began traveling the realms, in search of ancient tomes that would increase her prophetic power to where she could learn of her husband's true fate. Groa eventually became the most powerful seeress in all the 9 realms, with even Odin himself asking her for knowledge. No matter how powerful she became, Groa could never learn of what became of her husband. Sometime later, Groa read from another tome. Her powers had become so great that she had a vision depicting the death of Balder, a 3-year winter where the realms quaked and the skies split, a giant with a flaming sword, a battle involving Thor, an enormous wolf, the continuation of the Aesir-Vanir War, and finally, a white ghost from another land with his son. Groa had seen Ragnarok. Odin felt the power of this vision and paid Groa a visit. demanding to know what she saw in her vision. Groa was reluctant, which led Odin to threaten her life, and to also confess that Thor had been the one to kill her husband Arvindil. Upon learning this, Groa refused to tell Odin anything, and so Odin strangled her to death, stealing all of her knowledge in the process. After learning of his prophecy to end, Odin's jealousy of the giant's abilities of foresight grew tenfold, and he wished to learn and use these abilities to somehow alter his fate once Ragnarok begins. Sometime later, Odin's son, Tyr, had forged a close relationship with the Jotnar, and even came to Odin with the proposal of a summit with the giants in Jotunheim. Odin agreed to the meeting, but was really only in on it to finally obtain the secret of foresight. Ironically, the giants foresaw Odin's treachery and expelled Odin from Jotunheim. Odin returned to Asgard in a rage, and even went on to say that the giants were behind Ragnarok, and insisted that if all the Jotnar were destroyed, then Ragnarok could be averted. Odin then commissioned the Dwarven brothers, Brok and Sindri, to create a weapon that could destroy the giants with ease. Once completed, Odin bestowed the deadly hammer, Mjolnir, to Thor, and tasked him with killing every single giant that he could find in Midgard. Freya did not take too kindly to these events, and abandoned Odin. This angered Odin greatly, causing him to curse Freya in a petty rage to never leave Midgard, and to never be able to harm another living creature, even out of self-defense. Out of spite, Odin also cursed the Valkyries with a corruption spell, forcing them to remain imprisoned in physical form, driving them to insanity. As Thor's genocidal campaign raged on, his brother Tyr felt responsible for everything, and began helping the remaining giants to escape and to prevent Odin or anyone else from ever entering Jotunheim again. This did not end well for Tyr, as Odin had begun to correctly suspect him of aiding the giants and opposing him. As a result, Odin and Thor imprisoned Tyr for his betrayal and kept it a secret, leading everyone to believe that Odin had instead executed Tyr. Odin also confronted his advisor Mimir out of speculation that he too had been aiding the giants. Mimir was then imprisoned within a tree, while also having one of his Bifrost eyes removed by Odin to prevent any realm travel, and was tortured by the Allfather every day for the next 109 years. With Thor's campaign finally at its end, Odin sent his son Baldur to gather information on the whereabouts of the last remaining giantess of Midgard, the Jotnar guardian, Laufey. Only, Baldur wouldn't find the person that he was looking for, and instead, to Odin's horror, would encounter the being who would set Ragnarok into motion. Thank you so much for hearing the story of Odin. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe if you would like to see more God of War content. If there is something that I missed or inaccurately covered, or if you simply have a lore video suggestion, please leave a comment down below telling me that. I'll see you all soon with another video. Until next time.